Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is International Master Bindi Cheng, and today I'm going to be doing a live cast of my special guest, Aesthetics. And here we are. We're going to start this game now. And he doesn't actually specify who he is in his profile, and I'm definitely not going to give away his name online without his permission. But he does work at Chess and Math, so that is something that I guess you can use to find a clue. And the opening that he has decided to play today is the Benoni, and just scroll down to see. Okay, he said okay. Okay, so this is the Benoni, and his opponent is Kowalskij. That's not Kowalskij. I have no idea who this guy is. Okay, but this is the Benoni, and the line that his opponent has played is 92 bishop2. This is kind of a main line kind of thing, and what black usually goes for is 97, 95, or rook e8 first. So rook a first and castle, and here it's probably 97 because you have to develop your knight to d7 at one point in time. And basically black's goal in this game is going to try and attack the king side, usually with some combination of dark square play. So after h3, yeah, g5 was a move I was going to suggest. The whole purpose of g5 is to basically stop f4 from happening. Now white has interesting continuation of knight c4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, rook takes e4, knight takes e6, and rook d4. But rook a3 is more like the main line. And after knight e5, we arrived at a very critical position, which is probably going to be the main line in this game. I've actually seen this position happen quite a few times. And basically white sometimes goes queen c2, sometimes he doesn't. But the reason for queen c2 actually is so you can reroute this now c3 to d1 to e3 to control the square on f5, because that's actually just the key square for black. This is a weakness in most games, and if you lose this bishop, if this bishop gets exchanged, then black is most likely not going to do very well in this type of position because of the weakness on f5. Also, white has the option to play f4 anytime he wants, but the problem with f4 is that even though it looks like black's king side is kind of weak because g5 pawn's gone, the problem for white is that you've basically relinquished the square on e5, and that's most likely going to benefit black more than the weakness on the king side is going to benefit white. And g4 is definitely an interesting move now. So basically what black's trying to do is create a weakness on the king side. And as we see, knight d1 is a move here, knight d1 to a3, and also rook a3 guards h3. I'm not quite sure if taking on h3 is such a good idea, because I think that you should probably wait, because now f4 can come anytime he wants. So black probably has to get out of the way with knight g6 or something like that. Okay, so kh is also possible. Basically, you want to play rook g8 at some time, but yeah, obviously you can play king h2 to guard against that. So let's see, what move is possible here. I would try to go for something on the queen side as well before showing my hand on the king side. But this is definitely a bit of a double-edged game, and if black's attack doesn't really work out on the king side, he's probably going to lose because it's because these pawns white's probably gonna play f4 pretty soon, and if he gets f4, e4, d5, and then starts ruling down black's position, he's going to just basically get rolled over most of the time. But because black has so many pieces on, there's lots of ways for him to counter that, and I guess we'll see what's going to happen now. So after f4, one idea is you can play e5, but it's probably not going to work yet. So white's going to have to basically wait for a bit before going for e5 or f5 or anything like that. And I guess an idea for black can be to play queen e7 first, or bishop h6 is actually a very interesting move, actually, bishop h6. So attacking f4, you don't really want to play f5 because, as I said, you give the e5 square back to black, and that's definitely not a good thing to do in this type of game. It's okay, but he plays f5 anyway, and even though it's not such a good move to play in this game, one of the benefits of f5 is that this bishop is now going to be dead, because you can't really get this bishop out of the pawn chain anymore. So it's going to be a bit more difficult for black to really maneuver, even though he has a square on e5. But here I would still say that knight f4 is definitely an interesting move. Well, knight f4 is interesting, but I'm not quite sure if it's that good, because after knight f4, white actually has just knight c4 if he wants, and this bishop is guarded, and this bishop is basically being pinned by this bishop. So knight e5 is probably forced here. The only other move is knight h4, and that's probably not going to work out too well, because this knight doesn't really seem to have many squares to go to. But yeah, after knight e5, probably knight c4 is going to be the move, and white's probably going to be slightly better because of more space. Okay, so he goes knight h4. This is kind of interesting, I guess. I mean, if this doesn't work out, black's probably just going to lose right now, because his knight is off guard, and he hasn't really made use of e5 square. So white can actually play knight c4 pretty much right now. I think knight c4 is probably the move here, because black's trying to play bishop takes f5 because his bishop on e2 is hanging at the time. So knight c4 would guard against a bishop on e2 plus exchange off these bishops. I guess that might not be so good, because after trading off the bishops, you can still go f5 because the bishop on e2 is still hanging. So I guess the move here that white would have to try is knight f3, or not quite sure. Maybe just move the bishop out somewhere. So knight f3. Okay, this is definitely interesting play here. I guess this might be forced actually. So after black takes on c1, I think white has to take back on h4. Because if he takes back on c1, black can't play knight takes f5. Oh, so okay, so he probably knight takes f5 right now. Oh, knight takes e4. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I pretty much just lost that guy. Lost his e4 pawn. This f5 pawn's like not doing so well either. White's quinta is actually kind of weak, so black has some really good chances here. You know, knight on h4 definitely worked out to black's advantage, because I don't think white defended that accurately. So okay, so rook f4, and this really is nothing to fear from this. Queen 1 is probably an okay move that I can try. You can also play queen f6 or just queen g5, pinning the rook. That's also a possible move. So yeah, black has lots of moves to choose from here. I think queen g5 and rook g8 is definitely an interesting idea. Basically just trying to mate whites on the g file, and that's probably a good idea. So I guess the two moves are queen g5 and queen 1, and both are fairly strong and definitely blocks up a pawn, so he's definitely winning at this time. But yeah, I guess we'll just wait to see what happens now. Okay, let's see what time it is. Okay, so it's afternoon, and I have class in about an hour and a half, and he plays queen f6. Okay, that's a fair move. Really interested to see what white does, because so far I've tried to predict some of these moves and most of them are not correct, or they're not the same as the ones that I thought they were going to play. So rook e3, this is part of the reason why I said queen g5, because okay, well I guess he goes queen g5 now, so I guess it's better late than never. And you can't take on e4 right now because the queen is hanging at the end of the combination. Rook takes e4, rook takes e4, rook takes e4, queen takes gc1. Okay, so rook g4. Okay, so now probably queen takes f5. Okay, so bishop d3 is the move, and queen e5 check, and then f5. That seems to be okay. Queen e5 check. King g1 or king g1. Probably king g2. Oh, the hell. Okay. Okay, so I guess they don't have much time left. That's why these moves. But yeah, okay. So queen h, queen 5, and cool. That seemed to have worked in the end. I was kind of surprised about that, but yeah, it's kind of cool. And that is the end of the game. So that was a fairly complex position. I predicted a lot of the moves wrong, and it just goes to show that even though I thought I knew what I was doing, some of the moves just didn't really seem to be the same. I just didn't really have the same ideas and thought structure as my guest here, Aesthetics, and it's a good game for him. Thank you very much for watching this game, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.